Welcome to the Movie Draft Podcast. I'm Ethan Simi, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Sophie Holsinger.
Hello, everybody.
And our awesome guest for this episode, Jeremiah Battle.
Hey, everybody. So great to be here. I'm super excited.
And today we are drafting single location movies in a regular style draft. No movie quotes for the intro. No quippy intro, guys. Either of you. So let down. I was so ready to see what you guys are going to pull from and hopefully get a strategy read early on. Jeremiah, welcome to the pod, man. It's your first time on the Movie Draft Podcast. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Life is good right now. I've recently moved to New York for school. And it's just been cool being out here, experiencing the city, after being away from it, like just looking at it from afar. To now actually like be in the thick of it is really cool. School is going really well so far. I'm in my first semester of graduate film school, and we're like about to start our first project, like our first short film. So super excited to start shooting. And I'm just really enjoying life right now.
Dang,
Nice.
that sounds rad.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked for you. I'm also super jealous, and I also am like on the verge of just shutting this episode down because I didn't know you were in New York, and I can't, in good faith, have two New Yorkers on the pod against me. That seems like a crime. Sophie, what's up? Welcome back. I think the last time you were on this pod was the Coppola family auction draft, in which you tried to claim you won under very nefarious circumstances. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, well, let's just say I wasn't aware of the way that we do this podcast, which, maybe that's on me, but apparently we tally up the votes from all platforms, which that's valid, But I did.
Oh, good.
win
We got your approval
Twitter
to
poll.
get more
Yeah.
votes. Good.
I won the Twitter poll, and I think some people in the Sophie Hive were calling that out, and I was like, oh, whoa.
So some people in the Sophie Hive being your burner account is how I take it, because I told this story a couple episodes ago, and I'll rehash it very, very quickly. Basically, someone tweeted at us on the pod account on Twitter and was like, hey, I think Sophie won. How come Ben won this draft? And I quote tweeted, and I was like, hey, we actually pull from Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify. So we accumulate all of the polling. So be sure to go vote in all places. I swear to God, not 60 seconds after that tweet went off, I get a text from you, Sophie, in the group chat that's like, hey, I thought I won. I don't know. And I'm not pointing fingers, but that's suspicious.
It's a little suspicious.
Yeah, you're
Thank
right.
you.
Definitely. I was just
You're not even defending.
Sure.
You're not even. Wow. That's incredible. Okay. Sophie burner accounts confirmed. It's great. All prior wins annulled on the spot. Tough beat for you. Anyway, guys, I'm so excited that you're here. I'm very excited to draft single location movies. Before we talk about maybe our relationship with single location movies, how we feel about them, Jeremiah, I did want to bring up one quick thing. You mentioned being in New York, being in grad school. I did just see that you partnered with Letterboxd at the New York Film Festival. Can you talk about that for a second? Because like I said, I'm a little jealous, and that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was super random. They literally so Letterboxd DM'd me like on TikTok under my TikTok account, because at the time I didn't have like an email in my bio, so they just DM'd me and they were like, hey, how it started was I did a video for them a little while ago, like maybe in July, and that's how that relationship started. And then they got my email through that. And then they emailed me about this opportunity, like just randomly. They were like, hey, do you want to do red carpet interviews at New York Film Festival? And I was like driving, and I kind of looked at my phone, and I was like just freaking out, because I was like, no way, of course I want to do that. It was super cool, super surreal. Honestly, I still can't believe it happened. And I had never done anything like that in my life before. So like when I got there, it was super fast paced. Like you only have about like a minute to 30 seconds to talk to everybody and to ask them these questions, and you can't ask them questions for too long because the next person's like behind them and you don't want to miss anybody. And yeah, it was super chaotic. I messed up like once or twice. I think I did a pretty good job for my first time, I'm not gonna lie, but I did mess up like once or twice. I forgot who I was interviewing, but like I just went completely blank, and I just like paused and couldn't say anything, and they were like, is this your first time doing this? And I was like, yeah. They're like, oh, it's okay, it happens to the best of us. So
That's
yeah,
so sweet.
Yeah, super cool opportunity, and I'm just hoping that like more stuff like that happens in the future. So yeah, really cool,
man. Yeah, congrats.
awesome.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Sophie, were you at any red carpets at New York Film Festival? It's a real
No.
question. I'm not trying to be rude.
No.
I'm genuinely
I know
asking
you
you,
were.
were
I
you
know you
there?
were. Um, well, the red carpets take place like Jeremiah, I think, like right before the screening, right? So like,
Yeah.
or while I was probably in my seat while it was
Hmm.
happening, you know?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I
I'd
thought.
rather probably be in Sophie's seat because at least she got to go to New York Film Festival. I did the interview for the film, but I didn't get to actually see the movie,
Mm,
which is
Oh,
crazy to
dang.
me.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I
that's
heard
sad.
Nickel Boys was pretty good too, which is the
Yeah.
unfortunate part. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I will be honest, Jeremiah. I did do my first red carpet at South by Southwest, and it was a much smaller venue than a New York Film Festival would be.
Mhm.
But I interviewed Barbie Ferreira, and then I was like, "Cool, so where do I go to see this movie?" And they were like, "You don't like you got to go get in the
Dang,
standby line." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know about
that's
that, guys.
rough.
That's tough." So luckily, when I was at TIFF, I managed to get to the movies that I was interviewing for as well, which is lucky. Okay, single location movies. Well, actually, I do have one more thing. I'm sorry, guys. I lied. Last episode, SNL alum draft. I need vindication. I need validation. I drafted Pulp Fiction in the 6th round to much acclaim, or infamy, I guess you could say, between Ben and Ashley and Brian. And I drafted Pulp Fiction because Julia Sweeney is in that film. She's the Wolf's daughter. She's also notably an SNL alum, so it 100% qualifies for the draft. Can I just get your guys' take? Because Ben was like literally on the brink of being like, I will not allow that draft pick on this episode.
Wow.
He
I,
was
I
so
think if
it was insane. Honestly, it was insane.
I
My
think
take is,
if she's in the movie and
yeah,
if she's an SNL alum, I think it qualifies.
yeah. She's on SNL. She's in the film. She's billed. It counts.
Exactly.
I hate to
I've
be on
never
Ethan's side, but you
No,
know.
I was just gonna say, I've never been so happy to have Sophie on my side. It's incredible. First time for everything. God, the vindication feels so nice. Okay, let's talk single location movies. The movies that we are drafting here today on the Movie Draft Podcast. Jeremiah, I'll start with you. Where are you at on single location movies in general? Do you have a relationship with them? Do you maybe kind of prefer this like very niche, weird, I guess, quote unquote subgenre to maybe standard films? What about any of that?
I really love single location movies. Like I always have. I think when I first started like watching movies seriously, I guess like in middle school, like in 8th grade, like some of the first movies I watched were movies that took place in a single location, and I always thought that that was super interesting. And being a filmmaker, like logistically, like shooting in one location is like always easier. So I've always been attracted to that type of storytelling and telling those type of stories. So I love single location films.
What about you, Sophie?
I wouldn't say I've ever like really analyzed my relationship with them, but in prepping for this and looking at the list, I was like, wow, I really like a lot of these. And I think if a film is shot in one location and is successful, then it's kind of a miracle because
Yeah.
it's not relying on like much of the background. It's truly relying on the performances. And I think, yeah, a lot of these are really interesting and successful.
I do just want to say at the onset here that any movie that takes place like in London, that doesn't count as a single location. And I know you're
Oh
going to
my
try and do that,
God.
Sophie. And I just want to put that out into the world for everybody to know, like, much love to my London people, but that doesn't qualify. Not here on this draft.
Mhm. Understood.
Um, yeah, I'm kind of in your same boat, Jeremiah, especially, but like I I started watching a lot of single location movies, and I actually do feel like these bottle movies are a great introduction into like the world of film, and like if you're taking it a little bit more seriously because they are so technically savvy, and because they do not, like you said, Sophie, they do not rely on locations being a character, or kind of like the grandeur of being at Big Ben or the Brooklyn Bridge or any of those
Totally.
really famous places. um so going back through this list, I did recognize like, oh man, a lot of these I think are bangers. And so I'm really interested to see how this draft is going to play out. Did you guys do any prep work? Jeremiah, since this is your first draft, did you feel like you needed to come like prepared? Did you watch any new movies, or are you just coming in high confidence as it is?
Kind of a mix of both. I rewatched a few, but I have like a full list of ones that I couldn't obviously I couldn't rewatch all of them, but I have like a pretty big list of movies that I thinking about drafting. So I'm a little prepared. A little prepared.
Wow,
Just a little
you
bit.
sound like you're in safe hands. I'm nervous. Okay, too bad. Shoot. I was hoping you would come in and just be like, I'm scrambled. I got no idea what's going on. Sophie, you watch anything for this draft?
I watched nothing for this draft, and I'm sad because coincidentally, I have tickets to see a film tomorrow that is a single location film. It will come up, so I will mention it. But I'm sad
Interesting.
because it would have been great if it was last night instead of tomorrow. But
Are you gonna try and
Mm.
draft that movie?
I am.
Oh, this is interesting. I
Mm.
wonder if I know what that is. I feel like I do.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to try and draft that first. I don't know. You could just be really messing with me right now because I always get in my head so early on. We haven't even started discussing
Yeah.
the draft. I did not watch anything for this draft. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on single location movies. What I instead spent my time doing, instead of going back and rewatching things or watching something new, I spent that amount of time and energy compiling a list of films that are on the brink of being single location movies that I plan to shoehorn here and stand before the witnesses and try to make you guys accept that they are in fact single location films. So that's my goal for tonight for this episode of the draft. Just you've been warned. Be ready for that. Okay. Any strategy you guys want to talk? Any first round or first movie picks in your guys' opinion? Because I feel like there's a very clear overall number one best single location movie ever.
I think there is two, but I'm curious to see if we're all on the same wavelength. Because there's like one that
yeah.
like stands out amongst the pack. I feel like.
I mean, I think there's like the most famous one, but it might not be. It's not like my personal favorite. So
Right.
Okay.
yeah,
You got to delineate yourself from the populist crowd. I understand.
exactly.
Yeah. You can't just be living among the normies, killer style.
No.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. I shouldn't have expected anything less. Okay, let's get into the draft. Let's do this. Obviously, Ben is not here. Ben usually does the name spinner, so that is on me today. No, unfortunately, no Scrabble tiles. We have not elevated ourselves to that style of picking quite yet. We're still using, our phones, and I hope that I've just said enough of the right things for the spinner to know that I need to go first, because I do need that number one pick that Jeremiah is alluding to. I'm pretty sure I'm on the same page as that. So this is a regular style draft, meaning we will each be drafting teams of 6 films that are single location movies. The only caveat here, and it was the same caveat for our past regular draft of SNL alums as well, is that we do not have any categories. Now, normally, if we're doing a year or an actor or an actress, we will have categories that we have to draft things in. This style of filmmaking, the single location, felt like a category enough. So we're just doing teams of 6, straight up, draft whatever you want. And there are no rules, there are no stipulations, maximum chaos, anything goes, just has to be a single location film. Any questions? I feel like that's pretty straightforward, but as history has told us here on the Movie Draft Pod, the most simple drafts often tend to be the most hectic.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
it.
this might be the most straightforward draft we've ever done, but at the same time, I feel like I'm ready to fight.
Let's do it.
Wow. Ready to fight.
Yeah, like I feel like I looked up some lists of single location movies and I was like, there's just no, like that doesn't qualify. So I'm ready. I'm ready for you
this
guys
is
to
interesting.
put some in front of me and for me to say X nay.
I feel like
let's
I'm
do it.
very much on the opposite side of the spectrum here. I was going through so many things and I was like, that could qualify. I think I should do that.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna fly here.
You were on my team earlier, and now I'm wishing Ben was here because I feel like Ben takes my side a lot on those arguments. Jeremiah, you are going to be the deciding vote, so good luck with that amount of pressure. That's in addition to having to win the draft. So
Okay.
I wish you the best of luck on determining what qualifies. There is, in fact, a Wikipedia that is a list of films set in a single location. So as with the SNL alum draft, in which I learned about the Wikipedia page far too late, I discovered this days ago. So I am ready also to fight.
Okay.
Shall we spin? Shall we spin for our positions?
Let's do it.
Oh, boy. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I'm going to tap to spin. I will show you guys the spinner here. I'm hoping I get first, and it's looking like it's not going to pan.
Oh.
Jeremiah.
Oh, that's
Okay.
tough. I got to be honest with you. It's always tough when a guest gets to go first. Not fun. Wow, what the hell?
Okay.
What's going on?
Here we go.
Oh, well, okay. I guess I'll try my best. That's all I can do at this point.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the vote of confidence. That's great. Okay, Jeremiah will be drafting first. Sophie, you're going to be drafting second, and I will be drafting last at the turn, obviously. We do our regular drafts in a snake style, so I will get double picks all the way through this game. Okay, Jeremiah, your first pick of the single locations movie draft.
Okay. So whenever I think of single location, the first single location movies, the first film I always think about, like without a doubt, is 12 Angry Men.
Damn it.
Absolutely.
It's the one. Like when you were saying that there's a specific film, I thought it could have been another film that's like I really do want to draft next. It probably will get taken, but 12 Angry Men to me is like the definitive single location movie. I think it's perfect in really every single way. I know that earlier we were talking about how like single location movies like really focus on performance, and while the performances in 12 Angry Men are fantastic, I mean Henry Fonda I think gives one of the best performances of all time in that movie to me personally. But I just love the visual style of that movie, the way that the camera is utilized so well in such a small location. I think that is a what do you call it? That's a signal of a good single location movie if the camera movements and the cinematography never feels boring when you're just stuck in one location. I feel like that's a good sign of a good single location movie. 12 Angry Men, like the pacing, the cinematography, the performances, everything about that movie to me is just flawless. So that's why I'm going with it for my number one.
This movie is number 3 in the Letterboxd top 250. So I'm going to guess that the votes shall come.
Let's go.
This is it. This is the number one movie. There's zero question about it.
Yeah. I lucked out with that number one pick, huh?
Yeah, you really did. You really did. Sophie, very pro 12 Angry Men, I take it.
Yes, very pro. I watched it for the first time this year on a plane. And I think what's also interesting about this movie is that the location itself, like, just isn't interesting. Like, inherently, it's just a room. Like, it's just a jury room. And, like, it's a wooden table. Like, there's really nothing there. Where a lot of these single location films, at least the setting itself, like, has some intricacy to it. So I think, again, that kind of just, like, really proves how strong this cast is and the script is. And yeah, like what Jeremiah was saying, like the camera, like just, yeah, it's incredible.
This movie is perfect, and it is definitely in contention for whenever we do the sweatiest movies ever made draft. This will be also eligible for that draft. I just like when you say 12 Angry Men, the first thing obviously that comes to mind is best single location. Like that, I think that is the definitive kind of status quo of, okay, this is what it is. The next two things that come to mind are how sweaty it is and those fans, and opening the window to feel the rain and the baseball game being rained out. Like, it's insane. I haven't seen this movie in over a year, and I've only seen it twice in my life. And I know the intricacies of this film, and I think it's very, very successful in that. The other thing that comes to mind, I think the knife reveal is still one of the best reveals in cinematic history. There's zero question about it. I remember watching this movie for the very first time, and I saw it, and I was drinking, I think is a light way to put it. And I had called Ben. I called him on the phone, and I was like, this movie is so fucking good. And what did I proceed to immediately do? Pay full price for the Criterion edition of this film. I was like, I have to have it. And Power of 12 Angry Men. Wow. Well, I mean, in no reality does this not go first. So I can't be surprised.
Yeah. And
I,
I think it's had a lot of influence too. Like whenever I watch this movie, I think about Oppenheimer as well. Like I think like the not the courtroom, but like the what deliberation, like when he's getting
Mhm.
interviewed. Yeah.
yeah, the fake
I feel
room.
like yeah, I feel like that took a lot from 12 Angry Men in a way, like just the way that it was
Totally.
yeah, like just the way that it was framed and blocked and everything. I just feel like had a lot of influence from 12 Angry Men. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably where Christopher Nolan got the idea for Florence Pugh to
Oh
ride
my
Cillian Murphy in the room. He was like, "Yeah, 12 Angry Men should have had more sex." Um, okay, I feel like there's a pretty clear number two, but I guess we'll find
Interesting.
out as we go.
I feel like it gets a little blurry here. I don't know.
I don't
I feel like
know.
I feel like this is a game of the first round, and then everything else is is kind of free fire after that. Like I feel like build your team how you see fit. But this first round is
Mhm.
pretty clear to me. Even through three, I think it's pretty simple.
We'll
So
see.
no pressure, Sophie, but just draft whatever
I
you want.
I think I know what film you're talking about, but again, like I'm going with the movies I care more about personally. Like I will call it out after, but I'm pretty sure I know what you're referring to. But I am going to go with a film. Well, I'm putting it in front of you all because
Oh my God, it's the second pick of the draft. What's going
because
on?
no, just because I think there's like no debating with 12 Angry Men. Like they literally do not leave that room. But the movie that I'm putting forward to you, it's a long movie and most of it takes place at a hotel. But there's some scenes not at the hotel. A
Oh,
few
so
sprinkled
not a
in.
single location. It seems not a. So we're just talking about movies we just like in general. Is that what we're doing now?
So I am, I guess, nominating, not drafting The
This is a
Shining.
farce. This is a farce.
Uh,
Okay. I do think we need to have this discussion because it is an
Mhm,
important precedent here moving forward in the draft.
mhm,
How much of a film needs to be set in a single location for it to qualify as a single location? Because in the same interest of you, Sophie,
mhm,
I do have a few movies on my short list that they travel to a location and then 85% of the movie proceeds to take place there.
mhm. Yeah.
Same.
Uh, Like, do you think listeners are going to be okay with that?
I think at least 75% of the film needs to be set in one location for it to qualify. And I think The Shining
Oh,
does qualify.
I would even
75%.
say like 85.
Yeah.
Feeling confident. 85%.
Yeah. Well, because really, like when you think about The Shining, like you don't ever think about the scene, like the scene of the guy at the airport for 5 seconds, or like I guess they're in a house to begin with, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say no. I actually agree. This was on my short list. I think The
okay.
Shining qualifies for sure.
I think it
But
qualifies too.
you mentioned, and like, I think a lot of people would stand by this. Like, I guess, I don't know, maybe not. One of the first things that I think of is them driving in the car
Me
to
too.
get to
Yeah.
Overlook. Like, that's like very iconic Shining.
Mhm.
Outside of that specific traveling scene, it all takes place at the hotel. So I
Yeah.
approve. I think this is a smart play on your behalf.
Okay. Um, well, if you guys are fine with it, then I'm drafting The Shining, which takes place at the Overlook
Mhm.
Hotel. And I think this is the movie that I'm seeing tomorrow night, by the way. I'm taking my
Oh,
parents to see it.
really?
They've never seen it before.
Wow.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm
Hold on. We got to break. I need to know, are they excited to see this movie? Because word on the street is our last recommendation, they were disappointed.
yes, so notably, I did text Ethan about this last night. I'm currently visiting my parents, and last night we were sitting around the dinner table with some family friends talking about the pod as we do, and they mentioned that because of the Coppola draft, they queued up the conversation recently, and they did not like that film.
That's such a
And
crazy take. It's so
it is.
crazy.
No, it's so crazy.
Is
Their
it is it
taste is
is it
wild.
crazy?
No,
Oh,
Jeremiah, you do? No, you
Jeremiah,
can't support this kind of rhetoric. We don't allow that on the pod.
Oh, no.
It's not my favorite Coppola. It's not terrible by any means, but it's just not my favorite.
I understand that.
Yeah.
They were saying it was, like, terrible, like, they did
Oh
not
no.
enjoy their experience, And yeah, so that's something that was said by my parents. They're excited to watch The Shining. They both like obviously they like grew up in the 80s and it's crazy that they haven't seen this film. They both admit to have seeing like parts of it and like growing up my dad would quote this film, but he apparently hasn't seen it front to back. So
Wow.
that's what we're doing tomorrow night. And yeah, I think when I think of this film, I think of the scenes at the Overlook Hotel, and it's a big hotel. It's not taking place in one room like 12 Angry Men is, but I think that I still think of it as a single location movie.
Yeah, it's a good flick. It's
Yeah.
Shining. Pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
Solid.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
I mean, yeah, honestly, it's pretty good. It's been a long time since I've seen The Shining, and so I can't really speak too much on it, but like all I see come across my timeline right now is like The Substance 2024, The Shining, and it's like I know, guys, that I see it. I see it, and the influence is there,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. I got it. I'm
Mhm.
happy for everybody. Okay. Interesting. I have a double pick here. Now, do I back up what I was just talking about with what I think what a lot of people would consider to be like the unanimous number 2 single location movie? But is that the team that I want to curate? That's the question. Because I was pretty positive it was, and now I don't know. You kind of you wet my palate a little bit, Sophie, to dive into the questionable places.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. Okay. I'm going to. Yeah. You know what? I feel not good about that decision. Damn it. I was like, no, I have my double
I
sorted,
mean,
and I
you do
definitely
have 2
don't.
picks, so you can do one straightforward pick
This is true.
and one
Mhm.
playful pick.
Oh, that could be interesting. Could be good. Yeah, I am gonna go with my heart a little bit on this one. I'm gonna be picking Rear Window for my very first pick here. I think a pretty immaculate use of a single location that kind of doesn't feel like a single location, even though it is so hardcore a single location. I love Rear Window. This movie is so invasive and so sexy and so brilliant 70 years later. I can't believe it.
Phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Stole my pick.
Did I really?
Yeah, that was gonna be my number 2. Yeah.
Oh, great. I
think
feel really
that's
good
the
about
number
that, man.
2. Like, if you
Yeah.
were to list films like that,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so too.
Huh. Okay. Well, you learn something new every day. I guess I'm not connected to the people, I don't know. Living in my own movie world over here.
So
Okay.
that was the playful pick?
No, that was a combination of the playful
Okay.
pick and the straightforward pick.
So was that like in the top 3 like that you mentioned?
No.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
I had intended to rank my shortlist by like, I'm going to follow the books, right? Because we
Okay.
all know on this pod, I get flustered and I just start pointing at movies, and that tends to not work out well for me. So I was like, let's just go by the books on this one. Rear Window was at number 4. So we've scrapped that strategy
Ooh,
altogether.
wow.
already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Pretty crazy. I feel a certain amount of pressure to pick the right things. Like Jeremiah, I just took your pick, and I feel like at least for a little bit longer, I gotta be methodical about what's getting plucked here, because I feel like there's a lot of rounds 4, 5, and 6 just haywire, do whatever you want. It's going to be available.
Mhm.
With that in mind, I gotta have this movie on my team. I'm gonna be taking Reservoir Dogs.
Another pick you took from me.
Wow.
I don't know about this one.
2 for 2. What do you mean you don't know about this one?
I think it qualifies.
Tell
You
me,
don't think
Sophie.
so?
This is the movie that I saw on all the lists that I was like, I'm not sure. Like,
Okay.
I have like scenes when I think about Reservoir Dogs, I think about him bleeding out in the car. I think about him in the
Cafe.
hotel room. I think about the cafe scene at the
Mhm.
beginning. Like, there are a lot of locations in this film. And I wouldn't say 85% of it takes place in
But
one
you're
spot.
the one that put the 85 up. Jeremiah and I
75.
we were like 75 is good.
I don't think 75 even.
I think
Can you say
I don't
with your
know.
chest
You're telling me
75%?
75% of Reservoir Dogs does not take place in the warehouse?
I don't think so.
I don't know. This is a tough one. You got to think about the runtime. It's got a runtime of 99 minutes.
Yeah, it's very short.
It's a very short movie.
Mm.
So even though there are blips that happen in technically other locations, all of the main narrative outside of the wonderful tip conversation that happens at the cafe all takes place in the warehouse. It's on the Wikipedia. I mean, if we want to get technical.
I know it's on the Wikipedia.
I actually asked Jeremiah to add it last night before we drafted to make sure it was on the Wikipedia.
I don't know, for some, like, maybe this is just a me thing. I didn't have it on my list because I truly was baffled that it was on so many.
Okay.
Just because, like, I truly, like, I'm being honest here. I'm not just trying to screw you over. Like,
right, sure.
The Shining has the car and it has their apartment. This just has so many. Like, there's shootouts happening on the street. Like, they're not happening in the warehouse.
But I feel like those are so quick, you know? They happen so quickly.
The
I don't know.
iconic scene of them strutting on the street, like, I don't know.
It's on a lot of lists.
If Jeremiah is this deciding vote, then it's yours.
Now I'm like stuck in the middle. I don't know.
I gotta hand it to you, Sophie. You've come before the jury and you have started to sway Jeremiah's mind. I feel like Jeremiah was like definitely on my team when I nominated it because he wanted it, and now he's like, well, I don't know.
I mean, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I would have like, this is what I would have picked this, but I truly just couldn't.
So in live time, I'm scrubbing through the movie right now, and obviously I'm not going to see every frame of this film. It appears the first 11-ish minutes do take place in the cafe and in the car and getting shot and these types of things. I'm pretty much almost done scrubbing this movie, and they haven't
like,
left
what
the
about
warehouse.
the training on the roof?
Yeah,
like, there's just so many scenes.
But then they come back to the warehouse. They come back to the warehouse at the end. Yeah. I mean, look, we're gonna need a delineation here, and I just want to say
no.
If
and
you're
I
the
want
villain,
it on the record that I say
that's
no.
on your conscience. That's on your conscience.
I don't
Sophie.
think I'm the villain
for you.
I would have picked this movie first. I would have. Like, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love this movie dearly. I just, to me, and maybe it's because I have seen it so many times and there's so many scenes that I just don't associate with the warehouse. Of course, the warehouse is the primary setting, but it just doesn't feel like the only setting to me.
Sounds like bullshit Sophie rhetoric, I gotta be honest with you.
I will say though, whenever I do watch this movie, I think you were scrubbing through it, so you can like let me know. I think there's a point where they've been in the warehouse for a long time, and then Mr. Blonde goes to the car, I think, like goes to the trunk or something like that. And whenever that happens, like I just like remember like, oh yeah, we've been in here for such a long time. So that is something that's like pulling me back to your side. It's making me think like it does feel like it's just primarily in one location for the whole. I don't know.
Look, we're not getting any closer to making a decision.
I know.
This is tough. I nominated the film. I would like it on my team. However, I understand what you're saying, Sophie. And if I don't want to back down on my pick, that's my boy. That's my pick.
I know.
But it has forever been a controversial single location movie. I feel like. It's always in the discussion, not really ever like, definite.
I'll just say, when I Google the question, does Reservoir Dogs take place in one location? It says no.
It's it being the lousy Google AI that we're dealing with these days. Okay.
Yeah. No, but if you feel good about it, I want you to take it. I just did not feel good about having it on my team. That's it. That's what I'll say.
Great. Now we're going for the guilt trip. That's great. I mean, Masterpieces set in a single location. First thing that comes up, Reservoir Dogs. Bam. First hit on Google.
Okay, then take it.
Go for it. I say go for it.
Do it.
You got it. It's
I,
yours.
I stand by it. I stand by it. I'll take the wrath if people disagree. I feel like I feel like more people will agree than disagree out there that Reservoir Dogs does take place in a single location. However, there is room for argument. But I now this pick is ruined. This pick is,
I'm sorry.
It doesn't feel good anymore. I was like, love this movie, great pick. And now I kind of don't want it on my team. So that's the reality I'm living in now.
It's okay. You'll get some votes.
I'm sure you will.
It's a good movie. It's a great movie.
People love this movie. Yeah.
I hope. I mean, I love this movie. I want it on my team. Single location. Dynamite. Okay, Sophie, you're up.
Okay. I am going to be taking what I believe to be the superior Hitchcock single location film. I will be taking Rope.
Yep.
I absolutely love this movie. It's literally just takes place in an apartment at a dinner party. I think, again, like Hitchcock, just kind of the king of blocking. Like, this film is just insane that it works as well as it does. And it's suspenseful. It has incredible performances. And I happen to like it better than Rear Window, even though Rear Window is probably the more acclaimed of the two, the more talked about of the two. I really love Rope, so happy to have it on my team.
It's a great movie. I think it's phenomenal. It's actually like one of my favorite Hitchcock movies. I think
me too.
like for a while I would go back and forth between like which one I like more, Rear Window or Rope. I love both of them, but like on any given day, like it could be Rope, it could be Rear Window. They're both really phenomenal. So great pick.
Would you guys be mad at me if I said I'd never seen Rope?
Yep.
You know, a lot of people haven't actually.
Yeah, no, it's
I just keep taking L's. 2 for 2. Here we go.
No, that's what I'm saying though. It's like it's just as good as like all of his other films, but it's not talked about on the same scale as the others. And I think that's a shame because it's incredible.
Yeah. I got to see Rope. Another short film, 81 minutes. Really interesting. Interesting kind of collaboration between shortish and shorter runtimes and single location films. Now that we've talked about a couple of Hitchcock movies, I'm just like, man, thank God that Hitchcock found James Stewart. How cool is that? You know, we got two of the greats working together, making good movies. Okay. Nice. Good pick. No qualms or issues about that, I suppose. I guess the draft just moves on. You do have 2 picks, Jeremiah, but it seems like a lot of your picks have been taken at this point in time.
Hey, I have a lot more. Don't you worry. I have a lot more. But I am a little worried about like the validity of them. I don't know. I'm going to present them to you guys and you let me know if I think they should be okay. So the first one I'm going to go with is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Fuck, damn it. This was my same pick.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was on my list
I know,
too.
Like, sometimes they step outside, but I mean, it's like the Arctic. They can't really go anywhere.
Again, this is a
step outside in
conversation.
The Shining.
True.
Okay. This is a conversation of traveling to a single location as well, because you've got the helicopter that comes in that sets forth more people in this narrative.
But it's 85%.
Yeah, it's that. I think it might be 90 actually.
Pushing 92, pushing 93.
Yeah.
But this film is like my favorite like sci-fi horror. Like I just love this film so much. Like even John Carpenter is like a legendary horror director. It's my favorite from him, even more than Halloween, and like some of his other movies that I love too. But The Thing is like phenomenal. I love Kurt Russell's performance. I love just like how claustrophobic the film feels, and I feel like that's another signal of a good single location film, if you can really tap into that claustrophobic nature, and just like with the characters in this movie, they're all questioning like who to trust and who to believe, and I love that aspect of the movie. Yeah, it's just one of my favorites. Yeah. And I'm glad I could take it away from some of you guys. So.
I think it's really interesting and means completely nothing that both of your picks so far are originals of remakes. Right?
Really?
These movies were OGs. 12 Younger Men got remade in the 90s. The Thing also got remade in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
Interesting. Obviously, nobody talks about those movies because they're terrible. But the OGs, they live strong. Yeah,
They
I was
do.
hoping The Thing would be around for me next. I was really hoping this would be kind of my sneaky
Nah.
pick, but
Yeah. Well, you took Rear Window, so I had to take something from you.
I'd rather have a Rear Window. I feel good about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, you have another pick, man.
Oh yeah, I do. Okay.
Yeah, you're at the turn.
Now there's some that there's a few that I'm debating with, but I do kind of want to go back to Sidney Lumet and take Dog Day Afternoon.
No, you did not.
Yeah, I'm
Good
taking
job.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Good job.
It's so good. I think like that's one of my favorite Al Pacino performances. And what John Cazale?
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing his name right? So fantastic. And he had so many few roles, and I think that this is like one of his best as well. Just such a crazy movie. Like I'll never forget the first time I watched it. It was like the middle of the summer in like 2018, and I was just mesmerized by what I saw. It's so good. It's so good, and it's so memorable. And I feel like in a way, I don't know, like a lot of people outside of like film, whatever, like the film spaces, no one really talks about this movie. It's not very popular. I don't know.
You've also chosen two very sweaty movies. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting world you're living in over there, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
This is actually the movie I was alluding to as like the number 2 overall pick. I thought it would go
Really?
much higher in this draft.
Mm.
I was gonna pick it next for sure. I think Jeremiah has a win locked right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting trampled right now.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can
Absolutely
keep it
trampled.
going. Let's see if I keep it going.
This is like a great movie. I need to rewatch this because I saw this back before I would say like back before I really understood what I was watching with Dog Day
Mhm.
Afternoon and like when like
Mhm.
why it's so good. But yeah, I think there's so many things in this movie that are just like again like Lumet has this ability to just like pull things out of time. Like this movie is way tackling themes that are like way ahead of its time for 1975. It's kind of
Yes.
unbelievable. Yeah, love a good hostage movie. Love a good heist flick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Too bad. Too
Wow,
bad Heat
incredible.
doesn't take place at only the bank.
Yeah.
Too bad. Too
bad.
damn bad.
There is a movie like that though that kind of is on my list of potential. So I'll say that for later.
Ooh.
If it's still there. I don't know
I
if it
think
counts,
I think
but
I may know what you're referring to.
yeah. Okay.
Interesting. All right.
All right.
Yeah. I think Jeremiah's got the win sewed up right
I
now.
know.
We gotta
Now I'm
we
like,
gotta-
should I just
we
start
gotta
picking
pull it
like
out.
yeah, should I just start doing like some heart picks because I feel like I've lost at this point, but it's all right. No one's seen Rope. Ethan hasn't seen Rope. Whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, like not a great second round pick.
Oh
Build
my
your
God.
team and then go for the deep cuts. Get the votes, Sophie.
It's a Hitchcock film. Like what?
Oh,
do
It's a
you
great
mean?
film.
I forgot
more-
you have a lot of burners to vote on. Okay, so I guess
Oh
it doesn't
my
matter
gosh.
anyway.
If more people watched it, it would definitely get a lot more votes. It's
Mhm.
really that good. It's like fantastic.
So
And it's like
before
all
Look
one
at that.
shot, like what all one shot. It's like, but it's like stitched. It looks phenomenal.
Oh, it's too good.
So this episode is going to drop, and then the night after, Sophie, you're going to tweet like live watch along of Rope. Like, let's all log on Discord together and watch
Yeah.
Rope for no particular reason.
I'm gonna start a Discord for this reason only.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. All right. I have a pick. And I'm gonna keep with my I guess I have a little theme going of like suspense / horror. I'm gonna go with Ridley Scott's Alien.
Fudge. That's
Which
It's a great
is
man,
a-
oh man.
which is a heart pick, but also a strategic pick because this is a 5-star masterpiece. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I think it's also a fan favorite. Alien Romulus, obviously coming out. Aliens on the minds of folks.
Not a good movie.
Yeah, not a good movie. We've made that clear on this podcast, me and Ethan. But yeah, incredible. It's like another. It's kind of. I feel like I could say a lot of the same things that Jeremiah said about The Thing. Like, it's very claustrophobic because they're just like, it's this crew on the ship together, and it's about like their interpersonal relationships, but then it becomes this like full out horror movie. And it's incredible. And it takes place on a ship.
Yeah, I just rewatched this not too long ago. And there's a scene where I'm forgetting the captain's name, but he's like going through the ship with like the flamethrower, like or the fire, and
Mhm.
an alien pops up, and I literally like screamed and jumped up in my bed. Like, it's really effective. It's such a good movie. Really great.
Yeah, pretty good. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about it because I was going to draft it next. So I'm a little peeved, to be honest. Man, this was like, again, like this was on the cusp of like, ooh, very sneaky single location. Because like for me, when I hear single location, I don't automatically jump to Alien, but it's so clearly a single location movie
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
takes
Yeah.
place on Nostromo. Crazy, crazy movie, so good. I'm really I'm floundering right now. Okay. Alien was next. Alien was next. What do we do? What do we do? Got 2 picks. I think the Alien franchise interesting for this draft because you could pick Alien. You could technically you could pick Alien 3,
Mhm.
I would say. You could probably only pick Alien Romulus after that. I think Prometheus and Covenant are out. I think we do too much space
Definitely.
travel.
There's too
Yeah.
much going into different spaces. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Tough. That'd be so sick if I could draft Prometheus right now. Ultimate follow-up. That would have been cool. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm losing this draft, so I might as well just go with the things that I want. It's odd how I find myself in this location, so many, just week after week, just find myself not able to get a draft win.
Oh, gotta have hope. Gotta have hope.
No, not when you're drafting against Sophie. Hope is pointless. Okay, I'm gonna pick a movie that I do have like on my short list. I will be, I guess, nominating, putting forth before both of you
Here we go.
the film that I have previously tried to draft on this podcast and been vehemently disavowed as, hey, that does not qualify. So I'm hoping we can get a qualification out of it on this one. I'm putting forth Ex Machina. Takes place essentially in one house. Of course, you do have the travel to the home. Again, a helicopter ride. You've got a couple sequences in the office. And then you have the very finite and final kind of montage of 6 or 7 minutes that take place with Alicia Vikander's character outside of the home. Out of that, you're in the house.
I think it counts because it was actually on my list as well. I think it counts.
Yeah. I feel like if I get The Shining, then you get Ex Machina. Like, it's kind of the same thing.
I want compassion. I want power in that. I want you to assert yourself, Sophie. I want you to say, yes, this definitely qualifies. That was weak. It doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah. I don't know.
What does that mean? You are anti Ex Machina. That's crazy.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I'm not.
You shot it down last time. You were like, it definitely doesn't.
I did. Well, because it clearly didn't last time. This time, the lines are a bit blurred.
Didn't specifically come out in the year that we were drafting. Come on. That's literally equivalent of like, this wedding is horseshit. I can't believe we had to live by those rules. Okay, I've got another one on my team. That means I've got 3 picks left, and I'm gonna try and get a little spicy with them. I want to do something a little interesting and a little fun. So I'm gonna be
the whale.
You know what? It's crazy that you mentioned that because I saw a tweet earlier today that was like, Oscar-winning The Whale like came out 2 years ago or whatever. And
Did he win an Oscar? Really?
And I was like, God damn! You guys remember that?
Brendan
Won
Fraser won.
Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
In retrospective, what an abomination of an Oscars year!
Crazy.
Criminal. Absolute. Brendan Fraser wins.
Who else was in that category that year?
I don't know. I can't remember that category specifically. I love Michelle Yeoh, but like Tar, walking away empty-handed.
No, I
have nightmares every night. Nightmares every night.
Didn't what's her face?
Like, no.
Didn't what's her name?
Lydia Tarr.
Best supporting actress. What's her name? Jamie Lee Curtis. Didn't she win as well for Everything Everywhere?
Mhm.
Just look,
Insane.
I stand
Ridiculous.
by that. That's a good movie, but it should not have won all those awards.
Yeah, for
Out
sure.
of control. I have a tattoo of the movie, and I think that it should not have won all those awards. That's insane.
Mhm.
Do you know how many it won off the top of your head?
I think it won like 9.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
think it.
8 or 9.
It won a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wow, what a time. I appreciate you guys vamping for me a little bit, so I could try to figure out what I'm doing, but I still don't know what I'm doing. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Original Screenplay, and
Wow.
Best Film Editing. That's 7 Academy Awards, 2 of which, probably 3 to 4 should have gone to Tar. Like, no offense,
Yep.
but I mean, like, that's, come on, what world are we living in?
Mhm.
We gotta do some kind of draft where we can right that wrong.
Same year as Tar, After Sun, Banshees. A lot of great movies came out that year. 2022, right?
Mhm.
Or 2020? Yeah. No,
Yeah,
2020.
2022.
Yeah.
A lot of great movies. And well,
Yeah.
I'm sad now, so don't know what I'm gonna try. Don't know how this is gonna help me draft. In that vein of I don't know. I have no connective tissue to this. I'm gonna be nominating a movie that I actually watched the other night.
Ooh.
Do I want that movie?
Indecisive.
Sorry, I know I'm really indecisive on this draft. I feel like there's a lot of good things to pick, and listeners are probably just like just bleeding at the ears, just waiting for me to make a pick. Okay, I lied. I'm going to be nominating actually one of my favorite movies of 2024. I'm going to be putting forth before you guys the film Sing Sing. It takes place all within Sing Sing
Ooh.
prison.
I like that.
I didn't
This
even think
is-
about that.
This is one of my favorite movies of 2024. I've seen it a couple times. Each time I cry more than the previous time. I think that this, in my opinion, is a masterpiece of like emotional, dramatic work. Sure, it's a little bit much. It's a little bit intense, and Coleman Domingo is like capital A acting, and I fall for it, and I love it. So I'm going to be putting Sing Sing on my team.
That
love
that
that,
wasn't even
Ethan.
on my radar. Great pick.
Me
I wasn't
either.
even thinking about
Inspired
that.
pick. Love it.
Thank you. Your verbal accolades mean nothing because I'll still lose this draft, but I appreciate it.
You will, because nobody's seen that film. But you know what?
Yeah,
It's
man.
okay.
Wow, that's a sidebar for a different time. A24's just criminal rollout of everything
Exactly.
that's good. Jesus, when can I
Yep.
see the Brutalist again? You're a brutal boy, right, Sophie?
Oh, I am so
Oh,
killed.
yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I literally an hour ago I was like, all I want to do tonight is watch The Brutalist, and I can't. Like that's kind of the one downside of festivals is like you see a movie and you're like, I just want to go see it again, and you can't.
Every morning I wake up, I'm like, how can I listen to the score of The Brutalist? And every morning,
Yes.
I'm
Oh my
disappointed.
gosh.
Have you
So
seen The
guys are-
Brutalist yet, Jeremiah?
No, you guys are teasing.
Oh man, that's brutal.
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm sorry.
brutal.
That's
I've heard
literally
nothing but-
brutal.
I've heard nothing but great things. So yeah.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Talking about movies that should win that might not win. At the Academy Awards, tough.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Sing Sing. Definitely an inspired personal pick here, but I figure it started going downhill after I picked Reservoir Dogs. So what the hell? Might as well just keep the ball rolling downhill. Sophie, you're up.
I'm up, and I don't really know where I want to go. All right, we'll keep with well, I don't know if this is a horror movie exactly. I'm gonna take The Lighthouse. Takes place at a lighthouse.
Oh,
It
on an
does.
island, but sure.
Sure. They go outside and they like hang around in the mud for a bit. Sure.
Hang around in the mud. That's honestly the best description of that film I've ever heard.
But yeah, it's literally a movie about two freaks hanging out in a lighthouse talking about lobsters and such, and it's absolutely incredible. It's I think my favorite Eggers film, so have to take it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's really good.
Give me the Eggers rankings on the spot right now.
For me?
Sophie and
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Jeremiah.
Sophie,
Now.
Sophie go first. Sophie first.
Eggers ranking.
You got to look up Eggers films. This is good. This is going to be a good ranking. We got to remember what's in the contention.
Well,
for the
I'm
ranking.
looking at my star ratings because I think The Witch and The Northman are kind of like I kind of like I feel the same about them.
Oh,
The Lighthouse definitely won. Me, I guess The Witch second, and The Northman third.
Ben's not going to be happy about this.
Does he
I'm-
love The Witch? What's happening?
The Witch is literally just like the bane of his existence.
Oh.
I think he'd rather gouge out his eyes than watch The Witch again.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's
Huh.
it's insane. Yeah, tune into 24 minutes of A24 listeners, and you'll hear
Okay.
almost every episode. I try to bring it up. Bring him back to the light. See the goodness.
Mm.
I have the same
All
exact
hail Black
rating.
Phillip. That's what I got to say about that. You have the same rating, Jeremiah.
I do. It goes The Lighthouse, then The Witch, and then The Northman. But there's like,
That's crazy.
it's like The Lighthouse, The Witch, and then The Northman, like a little bit right here. But like they're all good. They're all really good.
Where do you think Nosferatu will fall on this list?
Oh, I think Nosferatu has the potential to be his best. It's like one of my most anticipated of the whole entire year. It looks
Yeah.
so good.
I'm pumped. I don't know if it'll beat The Lighthouse for me.
Wow, you
Right.
love The Lighthouse that much.
I do. I love it a lot. And I famously watched The Lighthouse for the first time during my freshman year college week in a coffee shop.
That's
Um,
psychotic behavior.
I know, because I don't know, actually. I was going to justify it, but I'm not really sure why I did that. I just needed a study break, and I was like, you know what? I haven't seen The Lighthouse yet. Let me check this out. And it's
So we've
incredible.
got you watching 12 Angry Men on a plane, The Lighthouse at a coffee shop. Can you please enlighten us of any other locations that you watch seminal films that should not be viewed that way?
I've gone on to watch those movies in a proper setting. It's just, I'm a cinephile and I like to watch films wherever I am. What can I say?
You gotta watch it where you can, when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, whatever you got to do to justify that kind of psychotic behavior is totally okay with me. You guys, specifically you, Sophie, you going to be checking out The Lighthouse in IMAX come November?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ooh. Okay, I'm in. I would rank The Northman, The Lighthouse, and The Witch. That's where I'm at.
Whoa.
Yeah,
love The Northman. I'm a truther from day one. The movie's sick as fuck.
I mean, yeah, you're an Ethan Hawke fan, so.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's like the most backhanded comment in the world. He's like one of our greatest living actors.
He is.
Wait, are you a big Ethan Hawke fan?
Yeah, huge.
So am I.
Love Ethan Hawke.
I love Ethan Hawke.
Jeremiah, I know you and we share a special connection about the Before trilogy. I've seen your videos. I know you like the Before trilogy.
I love Ethan Hawke. He's so cool.
Well, just in case you didn't hear, loving Ethan Hawke is overrated, according to Sophie. Not okay.
Okay. Never said that.
Okay, Jeremiah, you've got a double pick.
Okay. I wasn't expecting to go so quickly. It came up on me.
I tried to vamp for as long as I could about The Lighthouse. I asked like 7 questions. Gotta be honest. I gave you a lot of time.
The Lighthouse was actually on my list as well. But you stole that. So I think I'm gonna go with another horror film with the original Evil Dead. Does that count?
Ooh.
I'd have to defer to online because I have not seen this film.
I haven't either.
Oh, so
Wait,
we're
you
gonna
guys
get the
haven't-
wool pulled over our eyes. Look at us.
I've
You guys
seen
haven't seen
Evil
Evil
Dead
Dead?
2. I started with Evil Dead 2 and never went back.
I haven't seen Evil Dead in a little while, but I feel like it does mostly take place in the cabin, and if it does take place outside of the cabin, it's just like in the woods, like around the cabin. I believe the film start. Wait, let me check.
I know Evil Dead 2 is only in the cabin.
Let me see.
This is all on you, Jeremiah. If I put out this graphic and it says The Evil Dead and people come for this pod, I will direct them to your account.
Let's see. Evil Dead. Trying to find the original. The remake keeps coming up. Okay, let's see. I actually haven't seen the remake, actually.
I wish I could help you. I got to be honest.
Okay.
And, this doesn't bode well for the people out there that are chiming in every episode that are like, find better guests that have seen the movies you talk about. 'Cause I haven't seen the movie.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but I'm looking on Shot Deck, and it essentially has every film from the movie. And it like the beginning part starts when they're outside driving to the cabin, but then like as it progresses, they're just inside the cabin the whole entire movie.
Great.
But you guys haven't seen it. That sucks.
I know.
That sucks. It's so good. I think it's better than Evil Dead 2, which is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it. I think it's actually kind of scary. Like it's a little bit ridiculous, but like, I mean, I don't get scared easily, but I just love the style of it. I think Sam Raimi's his horror style just pops out in this movie.
Mhm.
Maybe not more than Evil Dead, but I think I prefer. I mean, Evil Dead 2, but I prefer the style in this first Evil Dead one. It feels a little bit more traditional to the type of horror that I like.
Mm.
Evil Dead 2 feels, well, it's like intentionally supposed to be a little bit sillier.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
don't think I like that as much. I
Mm.
like the more straight horror route that he was going with in this first one. And the style of how it's filmed, it's super indie, super what do you call it, like skeleton crew style. Like if
Mhm.
like you feel the indie filmmaking within it, and that's not saying it's like in a bad way. It's in a very good way actually. Like I think it only elevates the film and makes it feel more grungy, makes it feel more, I don't know, bare bones, if you will. I don't know. It's really good, and you should watch it when you get a chance because I feel like you would both like it.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't checked this out, especially since I agree with you. Like I don't know how much of the silliness within Evil Dead 2 works for me. Like, and I
Mhm.
love Raimi, so maybe I'll add this to my spooky season watch list and watch
You
it here
should,
soon.
definitely should.
I will probably watch it tonight, and then we'll just have to re-record this part when we realize that actually didn't qualify for single location. We'll just splice in some new audio, make you redraft outside of drafting time. No, I'm happy for you. Look, that's on you, Jeremiah. Best of luck with the people, and I
Let's
hope you're right.
go.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it for sure. You
Okay.
do have another pick,
I
and
do have
interesting, you
another.
chose another movie that got remade.
Oh, I did. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Um, I think for my next one, I'm gonna go with the sequel. Technically, technically a sequel. I'm gonna go with 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
This
Haven't
is on
seen
my
it.
list as well.
What? Guys haven't, oh wait, so have you seen it, Sophie?
I have, yeah.
But okay, Ethan hasn't seen it. I really do enjoy this movie. This was one of the first films that I like watched when I was like first getting into watching movies. Um, I just fell in love, like I said, like I really fell in love with the style of movies being in a single location, and this felt like an amalgamation of like what a movie like that could be. It feels so tense, it feels so claustrophobic.
Yes.
John Goodman in this movie, I think he's giving a fantastic performance. Like he's so brooding and he's so intimidating, and like I don't know, it's just it like the movie just feels so claustrophobic, and I love movies that make me feel that way. It makes me feel boxed in. It makes me feel anxious. I I
Mhm.
I, I think it's phenomenal. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, it doesn't make me look good that I haven't seen this movie, but I do have a very real, I do have a very real question for you. I look
Mhm.
up 10 Cloverfield Lane on Letterboxd. Okay,
Mhm.
pretty good cast. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. You want to
Very
know
good.
who's in
Mhm.
this cast?
Who's in
Yeah,
there?
say it.
None other than a man who should have many Academy Awards by now, Bradley Cooper. Is he actually in this movie, guys? Because it says he's the
Is
voice of
What?
something.
Bradley Cooper's in the
Bradley Cooper. He is the voice of Ben. So if listeners could get at me and let me know what that
Oh,
means and if I should watch the
Oh,
movie.
interesting.
Well, who
Yeah,
is
because
Ben?
his
Would that
face is
spoil the
not in
movie
it.
would that spoil the movie if I know who Ben is?
Ben is
Admittedly,
isn't
I haven't seen this film since it was in theaters in 2016, so I
I
cannot
but
answer that question.
I could be completely wrong, but is Ben maybe the person who runs up to the door trying to get into the bunker
Oh,
space?
maybe.
It
I,
mentions that Ben is the ex-fiance of Michelle.
is
Maybe he's just on
Wow.
the phone then?
I've
I
really
don't
stumped you guys
know.
on this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michelle is Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character's name.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's like in like a flashback sequence or something like that
Whew.
that I'm not remembering.
I do not remember seeing his face, so
Well,
Me neither.
I think we need a Bradley Cooper
Same.
draft to confirm that this movie will probably be drafted for sure. in that draft. Okay, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I got to check it out.
Yeah,
Nice.
great movie.
I think interesting strategy going with two movies that I haven't seen. You're really trying to take advantage of me. It seems like. Okay, Sophie, you got your pick.
I do. I'm gonna pick another movie that is a heart pick because I don't really know how many people have actually seen this. I don't know if it'll really get me any votes, but I love this film and I love this filmmaker. So I will be selecting Panic Room, directed by David Fincher, which takes place in a home, but also in a panic room. stars Jodie Foster and a young Kristen Stewart. Also features Jared Leto, and it's great. It's yeah. I mean, I don't know. Have you guys seen this movie?
I've actually started this movie so many times, and it's always so late at night. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it later
no.
on. And I've never seen past the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's bad beat.
Yeah.
I've seen Nicole Kidman in this movie. Interesting.
What?
Check the letterbox. That's what I got to say about that. Have you even seen these movies that we're talking about, Sophie? You're surprised every time where I'm like, yeah, this person's in the
Okay,
film.
Nicole Kidman plays Steven's girlfriend on the phone.
Oh, right. She's uncredited.
Come
I would
on.
have hovered over.
Come on. Don't do that to me.
Wow. What are the chances? Bradley Cooper plays a voice in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Same thing with Nicole Kidman in this
I was
movie.
like, there's
Wild.
no way. Oh my gosh, that's silly.
Crazy times. Love to see Fincher and Jared Leto get back at it in Panic Room. I have not seen this movie in my adulthood, but I definitely remember watching this like as a young teen, as my mother was like, Panic Room and The Game. You got to watch those movies. So it turns out my mom, Fincher head. Who would have thought? I'm happy for you. I definitely need to watch Panic Room again, and love to see you link up with your boy Finch.
Yeah, love him. Gotta have him.
I actually haven't seen Panic Room or Game.
You haven't seen The Game?
Wow.
No, yeah, I haven't. And I haven't seen. There's a few Fincher films I haven't seen. I haven't seen Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which a lot of people love. I haven't seen that. And then Benjamin Button. Haven't seen either.
I was fully ready for you to be like, yeah, I haven't seen The Social Network. Not sure.
Oh, no.
And I was just ready for Sophie to go ballistics.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones I saw. Love that one.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend The Game. I have a very hot take that I think The Game is a top 3 Fincher movie. Just like
I don't think I knew that.
pretty clear and away. Every time I watch it. What's up with all the keys? What are all the keys? It's great stuff. Okie dokie. I've got my final 2. I'm down to this is it, huh?
This is it. Make it count.
Shoot. This is interesting. Make it count. Okay. So there's a movie I know I have to have on my team because I think this is quite an inspired pick. And I guess I will nominate it because it is a little inspired, but I feel really good about it. Hadn't thought of it initially, and then I started listening to the soundtrack and I was like, ooh, this definitely applies. So I'll be nominating Bo Burnham Inside.
Oh,
takes place inside of his home.
Love that. That's another inspired pick, Ethan.
I like that pick.
Thank you, Sophie.
Wasn't even on my
That's
radar.
really good. That's what a great movie.
It is.
Yeah. I will be watching it tonight. I kidded around about watching 10 Cloverfield Lane. Sorry, Jeremiah, I'm not going to watch that movie. I'm going to watch Bo Burnham Inside again for like the 13th time.
Yeah, Inside's much. It's a fun time. Yeah.
This movie to me is like one of the greatest, like most seminal works of the 2020s, if not like kind of like cinema, I guess in general, even though it's like a very, kind of obscure tangent of like what you would consider a normal film or a normal movie. Yeah, I think this movie is just an out and out masterpiece. No question about it.
Yeah, I'm not someone who, I mean, I've said this on the pod, I think, but I'm not someone who kind of seeks out comedy. Like before Bo Burnham's Inside, I'd never even like queued up a like comedy special, quote unquote, before. But this movie like just changed everything for me. Like I was like, oh wow, like I actually find this like incredibly interesting and creative. And I think it's incredible. It's a soundtrack I listen to quite often as well.
When I turned 30, I got the tattoo of the lyrics, I'm turning 30, and then in parentheses it says no with an exclamation point.
I love it.
No.
That's amazing.
This movie's had a pretty profound impact on my life. I'll just say that. Okay. That was my definite. Now I find myself in an interesting situation here. There's a movie that I want to pick just again to like be a little inspired because I think it technically qualifies. I guess I'd have to put it up before the committee, but I got nothing to lose. I might as well do it. I feel like there's better movies on the board that are more in line with a single location, but we've all lost to Jeremiah, so it's okay. matter. I will be nominating a film that I, in fact, did rewatch a couple of nights ago. Again, another masterpiece in my opinion, but I'm really curious to see if you guys are going to say that if this movie counts or not. This could really, really toe the line on what's applicable here. I'm going to be nominating the film Midsommar. Now, it does take place technically all at the community, right? Within Sweden, all out there. Now, I do understand we get what is essentially a prologue to them getting to the location of choice. That is them flying there and then taking mushrooms outside of the community and then arriving at the community. So I understand if there's pushback, but kind of takes place in one spot, if you ask me.
I feel like it does take place in one spot. I think I'm on your side here.
Love to hear
it didn't cross my mind. The only thing is I'm like, the community is kind of just outside, like wandering. Like, the scene at like the cliffs and stuff. Like that's not like it's just it's out
part of the commune,
The location is just like outside. So it's like that's kind of everywhere.
Whoever said that the single location has to be inside? Nobody said that.
No,
it's just has to be one spot.
If the location is just outside in the world, that's not one location. That's every location.
Okay, you're really stretching. You're really reaching here. Think about an American neighborhood, right? There's houses, there's apartments. You have a little mini mart that you go to. Maybe you go to the restaurant down the block. Maybe you go to the waterfall around the corner. But it's all within your neighborhood. Midsommar, same thing. It's one location. Generally speaking.
But I'm gonna look up some Midsommar images.
Oh wow, we're okay. This is truly before the jury here. When you think of the movie, it's similar to The Shining. I think my argument is similar to The Shining. When
I was going to say that.
You do not think about Danny being in her home. You do not think about the plane ride. You do not even necessarily think about them wandering through the forest to get to the community. You just think about the community. You think about that one location and that's it.
Yeah, as soon as you said Midsommar, I was immediately thinking about like what we were talking about with The Shining earlier. I do think that is a good comparison.
I just feel like they do a lot of walking around, but whatever.
No. Look,
because
I want to be honest.
Remember, like they go on like a pilgrimage essentially. Like they take drugs and they walk around. Like they're not just like the community is outside in nature. So it's like I don't know.
Okay, so you're anti-nature. You just like don't like things outside.
Oh why did you do this to
me? I agree, and you've actually swayed myself a little bit because selling this movie as a single location does undercut and undersell the fact that they do in fact take a pilgrimage to this community that does play a large role in the narrative, especially when it comes to Danny's emotional pivot that she does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like this movie. I would be happy for you to have it on your team so that you wouldn't be taking a pick away from me. I just don't think of it as a single location movie at all. But that's just me.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I don't want that on my conscience. Like Jeremiah was cool with his pick. I can't handle that kind of pressure.
Okay.
So I will respect the wishes of you, Sophie, and we will move forth to another film. And that's okay. That's all right by me. I'm going to be nominating. Since it is spooky season, I feel like it's only right to go with like another, spooky film. I'm going to be nominating. I'm caught between two, but I guess I'll just pick the one. What about Suspiria, 1977? Dario Argento film, takes place essentially at the Academy.
I haven't seen it.
Well, I feel like that's a win for me. I got one less person I got to worry about.
I've seen it, but I can't really.
So, she
remember.
She travels from America to Germany to attend this German Ballet Academy. The only thing we get in the beginning is her essentially showing up in Germany and having a taxi ride to the academy. That's it. Outside of that, it only takes place within the school because it is. I guess I don't want to spoil it for you, Jeremiah, but I got to break it to you. This movie's like 50 years old.
I'm late to the party. It's okay.
We'll just say it's spooky. How about that?
Mhm.
It's 100% a single location movie.
Okay, great. I trust you. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen it, but I don't remember like how much takes place at the school. I'm getting it confused with the remake as well, so I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting that a lot of these films do spurn remakes. Of course,
Yeah.
the remake notably has found its hive as of late, with Luca Guadagnino banging
Mhm.
out movies left and right. I'll take Suspiria. Wasn't really on my high list, but I panicked at the end. I didn't know what to do. So that's where we are.
Mhm.
Okay, my team's complete. Sophie, you got one more pick.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot more on the board than I thought. Some that I'm really surprised haven't been taken. But I want to round out my team with something that I think will appeal to the voters, but also a film that I really enjoy. So I'm going to be taking a film that takes place completely on a train, and it's going to be Train to Busan.
Oh, I thought it was Murder on the Orient Express. Oh,
Not
No.
I was thinking about Snowpiercer.
yeah. I also
Yeah.
thought it was.
Those were all on my list, but I personally like Train to Busan the best. It's a film about a zombie virus that infiltrates Korea, and it is incredible. Have you guys seen it?
I have,
I have
but
not.
like a while ago though. But I still remember like how like good I thought it was when I first saw it.
Yeah, it's I mean, yet another film that's like feels very claustrophobic. They're kind of just like trying to strategically separate themselves from these zombies, so they're like moving from train to train, and it's just yeah, it takes place completely on this train. I think they like get off the train and go on to another train, but it's primarily on trains. So yeah, it's incredible. It's really good.
Okay. I do want to just note quickly. It seems like you're leaving out something really important about this watching experience of Train to Busan.
Oh,
Seems like you might have viewed this on a train.
I did watch this on a train. I completely forgot. My letterbox review is literally I watched this on a train. And you know
your
what?
your letterbox review says watched on a train, sobbed on a train.
Yeah, that reminded me how emotional this film is at the end. Like packs such a punch all of a sudden after being kind of just a horror film for 90 minutes. So, yeah. Oh, what a
Wow.
film. I need to rewatch this.
I think that's really sick that half your picks were just viewed in
Yeah, that's
public
kind of
public
incredible.
spaces. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Maybe that would be a good draft. Movies to watch in coffee shops.
Love that.
The Lighthouse, number one draft. Okay, Jeremiah, you have one more pick. You're gonna round out this draft, man.
I have a pick, but I don't know. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm just gonna throw it out there because
Oh,
there's a
wait.
lot that I do want to pick from. Oh, go ahead.
Can I say real quick as well? I also had another train movie on my short list. Bullet Train would have qualified for this draft as well.
I haven't seen Bullet Train.
I like Bullet Train. I think it's fun.
I haven't
Okay.
seen it yet.
Sorry to stop your stream of consciousness, but again,
No,
strategy
n-
play on my end.
you're totally fine. There's just so many to pick from. Like Sophie was saying, there's so many on the board. I'm like stuck between a few. I do think that this one will appeal with the voters because a lot of people love this movie, myself included. But I don't know if it's gonna count. But I'm gonna say it anyway.
Okay.
So I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Look, here's the thing. I haven't
Ooh.
seen this movie, and I have people breathing down my neck left and right every day for me to watch this film, and I haven't seen it.
You should watch it. I think it's phenomenal. I'm a big romance guy, and like this is like one of the best romance films I've ever seen.
I hear it's good.
It's fantastic.
I love
Sophie,
this
this falls
movie.
on you.
Yeah, it honestly did not cross my mind at all, but now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I think it's like it's one of those that's kind of untraditionally a single location movie because they definitely like spend an equal amount of time like in the house but also like on
Mhm.
the beach.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would think of it as a single location movie, but I guess is the beach like connected to the house? Like I don't know.
No. Okay.
I can pick another one if it's not.
Anti-nature rules again.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's see.
I'm not like outright against it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Tough.
Like, do you
I-
agree that they spend a pretty significant amount of time on the beach?
Yeah, I think they do spend it like some of the most iconic scenes are like on the beach outside, I'd say.
And they're like going on walks and stuff.
They are going on walks and stuff. They are going on
Wow.
walks and stuff.
You are
I'm sorry, I'm being
you're
intense.
like anti-traveling by feet. You're like, they pilgrimage to the village. They walked the beach. Not allowed.
It's not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think the hammer of justice strikes. I think you got to pick something else, Jeremiah.
Okay. Let's see. There's so many to pick from. I just don't know which one I want to pick. I'm gonna throw out another one. This one,
Yeah,
this
do
one may
it.
not.
I
Okay.
love it.
Die Hard.
Die Hard is on my list.
Die Hard.
Yeah, all in the building, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it applies.
I'm
for
going
sure.
Die Hard. It's one of my favorite action films ever. I love the movie. Hans Gruber, one of the best villains of all time. Yeah, it's phenomenal. So iconic, so much fun. And it's a Christmas movie. I don't care what anyone says. It's a Christmas movie.
I will say, I'll tease the listeners a little bit. Christmas season's coming. That's what I'll say about that. And I'm sure that this is not the last time we'll talk about Die Hard in the coming months. Yeah, this movie's sick. I've only seen it once, but like I think it's dope.
It's so much fun.
Good movie.
It's so much fun. And it's so simple. I feel like it has great story structure too. It's like has a clear middle. I mean, beginning, middle, and end. Like it's simple, but it's like it's simple to the point, but it's really fun. It's such a good time. And you could throw it on any time of the year, not just Christmas time. Not just Christmas time.
Very much in line with Goodfellas. Christmas movie, but you can watch it year round. Pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes, Jeremiah agrees. What a great take. God, people eat me up for that take. That's a great
There's
take.
literally Christmas lights in one scene.
Okay. I mean, what do you like anti-Christmas now? Like, what's going on? Yeah, there's
No.
Christmas lights in one scene.
They go Christmas shopping.
You bet. Great Christmas.
All right.
Die Hard. Yeah, good movie. Okay, we have finished the single locations movie draft. Let's go through our teams. We'll each say what we got. And then I do feel like there's at least a few honorable mentions here. I know I have some on my short list. I'm sure that you guys as well. Jeremiah, do you want to read through your list first? Let us know what you drafted.
Yeah, so my first pick was 12 Angry Men. My second pick was The Thing. My third pick was Dog Day Afternoon. My fourth pick was Evil Dead. And my fifth pick was 10 Cloverfield Lane. And my sixth pick was Die Hard.
What about you, Sophie?
My team is as follows: The Shining, Rope, Alien, The Lighthouse, Panic Room, and Train to Busan.
All right. And I've got Rear Window, Reservoir Dogs, Ex Machina, Sing Sing, Bo Burnham Inside, and 1977's Suspiria. If I gotta say anything, it's that my team's very inspired. I don't think it'll equate to a win, but it was fun. It was good while it lasted.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was cool. Yeah, that's sweet. And that's about that. Okay, let's do some honorable mentions for single location movies. Also, if you had anything that you were gonna like try and throw out that you just like never got around to, Jeremiah, you want to go through yours first?
Oh yeah, I have a whole bunch. So super like underrated movie. It's like a pretty old movie. It's called The Petrified Forest. Have you guys ever heard of it or seen it?
No.
Really good movie. Let me search up the specifics on it.
Honestly, that's probably why Letterboxd hit you up, because they're like, man, Jeremiah's seen The Petrified Forest. Nobody else has. You're talking about the 1936, The Petrified Forest?
Yeah, Archie Mayo. It's so good. It's so good. We watched it my sophomore year of film school in my undergrad, and like it just blew my mind. Like everyone in the class was like, "Oh, this is whatever," but me, I was like, "No, like this right here, so good." I think one of the main actors in the film is Humphrey Bogart, and that like put me on to Humphrey Bogart. I think he's phenomenal in the movie, one of my favorite actors, and it put me on to him. And then after that, I watched more of his work, Casablanca. What else is there? There's In a Lonely Place, like so many great movies from Humphrey Bogart. Yeah, great movie. Then some other honorable mentions: Shiva Baby, Fences, Misery, if that counts. Inside Man was the one I was talking about earlier. That was like, yeah, yeah. And then I also put Funny Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that one.
I should have. I should have picked Funny Games. I do like that movie a lot.
That's a lot of that's a lot of inspired picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sophie, did you have any honorable mentions?
Yes, I had most of those. I do think that the one people are gonna maybe be most disappointed that we didn't pick is Misery,
Mm.
which Jeremiah did mention. Also, Clue. Clue takes place all in that house, right?
I haven't seen Clue. I'll bet you could have mentioned Knives Out too, maybe. Mm, no, actually,
Nah, I
no,
don't think
no,
Knives Out
no,
would
no,
qualify.
no, no.
The
Yeah,
hu
no.
basically, the entire final act takes place outside of the house.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
true. One of my favorite movies that has come out in the past couple of years, Sanctuary, starring Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott, takes place in a hotel room.
Oh, that's a good movie. Wow. Good
Great
look.
film.
I
Wow.
I
haven't.
was gonna be inspired and take it, but
You should have
I don't
done it.
know.
Wow.
I
You would
haven't.
have
Yeah.
had my vote.
I haven't seen it, but I do like those two, so I should watch it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Um, Also had I don't know if this movie is good, but I watched it a lot as a child. It's the M. Night Shyamalan produced film Devil that takes place entirely in an elevator. Um,
What?
it's just so like enamored by this film as a kid. Could not tell you why. I rewatched it recently. It's like totally fine.
Dude,
Um,
Chris Messina Hive rise up. My God.
yep. He's good in it too.
A group of
Um,
people are trapped in an elevator high above Philadelphia, and one of them is the devil?
uh-huh.
Sick as fuck. That's
It's kind of
awesome.
crazy, yeah.
Wow.
It is. The Whale, mentioned The Whale. I really did want to take Shiva Baby. I thought that would be an inspired pick as well. The Breakfast Club, if that
Mm.
counts.
Yeah, I
For
think
sure.
so for
Um,
sure.
what about the movie Room?
Yeah, I was looking at that, but I haven't seen Room in so long. It would have
I
felt
haven't
weird
either.
talking about it.
It
Yeah.
it definitely
Yeah.
qualifies. I've watched it recently. Too sad to end up on my team,
Too sad,
honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not a movie I ever want to watch ever again. Um, and then Knock at the Cabin by M. Night Shyamalan, another
I haven't
movie
seen
that
that one
Eh,
either.
I love, but not a lot of people. I don't know, kind of mixed. So
meh, it's okay.
yeah,
I think speaking of cabins, you could probably go cabin in the woods, single location.
yeah,
I did have a significant amount of things here, so I will just rip through them. Would you guys have approved Saw if I put Saw out there?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn it! I got cold feet. I was like, oh man, this is gonna get shot down so easily. Saw would have been so sick. Okay, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, pretty much all at the house. Barbarian, same thing,
Mm,
pretty much all at the house. Phone Booth, another movie where people are talking on phones. Lock, basically takes place all inside of a car.
mm,
You guys mentioned Shiva
I think
Baby.
it does all take place in the car for the
And
whole movie. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it does. Free Fire, a pretty underrated A24 movie, all takes place within a warehouse. It's kind of like Reservoir Dogs ish. It's pretty good. I'd seek it out. The Hateful Eight didn't get drafted. I think
That's
if
yeah,
It's actually my least favorite Tarantino, but I
me
do like
too.
it. It's my least favorite though. Yeah.
wow, look, I'm not a
Follow
Hateful Eight
through.
stan, but geez, that's a take.
No, but
What's
it's like,
what's his worst film?
yeah.
You tell me, Sophie.
The Hateful Eight. Like,
Well, okay,
easy.
yeah. What does it go? It goes the Hateful Eight and then Pulp Fiction. Jeez,
No,
unbelievable.
Ethan,
We're
come on. What
We're
do you
still getting
think?
shirts. We're still getting shirts made, by the way. That's,
Okay,
don't think you've escaped
I
that.
won't be purchasing.
Okay, great, because I'll comp you one. Don't worry, I will send it to you anyway. You don't need to purchase it. What is Tarantino's worst movie?
Ethan
Kill Bill
doesn't know
Volume.
Tarantino.
Kill Bill Volume 2.
Oh, actually, no, I lied. I do think it's Kill Bill Volume 2, actually.
Thank
And
you.
then it's
What?
Hateful Eight.
Don't
Yeah.
don't try to.
turn on
Ethan
me,
doesn't know
Jeremiah.
this.
Don't turn it
God,
on me.
I
Ugh.
I don't know.
the
I
Kill
don't
Bills,
know.
both Kill Bills are bottom tier Tarantino.
Whoa, the first one's
Whoa,
great.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Okay,
whoa.
we gotta, guys. We've already done a
Different.
Tarantino draft in the past. We'll run it back in the future. Don't worry. It's got just
Run it back and bring me on. Run it back and bring me on.
Will do. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies takes place essentially all within a
Oh.
home during a hurricane party. The Breakfast Club, you guys mentioned. I mentioned Bullet Train. Clue, Clerks, I think is a shout here as well.
Yeah.
I saw it on a lot of lists. Snowpiercer, we briefly mentioned. A couple of more inspired picks I had on here. Saturday Night just came out last weekend. Takes place all within the NBC Studios building. I got Midsommar on my team. Well, I tried. High Life takes place all within a space vessel. Really interesting film from Claire Denis. Climax, another crazy out of left pocket A24 movie, takes place all within essentially a dance warehouse or a dance kind of studio. And then the last thing I had on my short list, a movie I actually just watched for the first time last night, A Ghost Story. I feel like that could qualify as a single location as well. The location technically changes throughout time, but it is the same plot of land, even though I know that's a tough sell on your end, Sophie, because it is like outside, but it's a house sometimes, you know? That's what I would have gone with. So all those movies I could have drafted. I guess we could have drafted like teams of 16. I don't know.
Yeah, we could have.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think
more.
Jeremiah's gonna win.
I have two more that like honorable mentions. This movie from Richard Linklater called Tape, starring Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
Oh, haven't seen that.
Yeah, and then Green Room, A24 movie.
Oh, that would have been.
You don't think so?
Interesting.
I had that on my list as well.
Really? They go into the forest at the end. You know,
At the end,
they're on the run.
Yeah,
But
but
the
in Dog
majority
Day
of the
Afternoon,
movie-
at the end, they go to the airport.
Airport, yeah.
All of these, like,
Oh.
if we actually said single location films, the list is 12 Angry Men. That's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Good draft, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks
That was
for
fun.
Thanks for the draft. Jeremiah, massive thank you for coming on the pod, man. Truly a delight to have you on. If people want to find more of you, where can they find you at?
You can follow me on TikTok, Jeremiah.battle. I'm on YouTube, just Jeremiah Battle. On there, I post like my short films. And I'm trying to like start posting more long form content on there, like just like reviews and just other stuff. You can follow me on Instagram. I recently changed my handle, so it's Jeremiah the Director. It used to be Visionary XJ, but Jeremiah the Director now. You know, very
I like
clean.
that.
And yeah, like those are like the main things you can find me on.
Nice. Yeah, highly recommend following Jeremiah on TikTok. Great content, man. As expected. Sophie, thanks for joining the pod. You know, it's a pleasure to hang with you, to draft with you.
Aw.
We've got a draft coming up. Your next one that you're going to be on, I guess, is next week. Do you want it? Should we allude to anything?
I don't even know if I know what it is.
Oh boy. Well, where are you? Well, I know where you're at on the Lighthouse. We are talking A24
yep.
horror next week on the
Mhm.
draft. We're gonna do a collaborative draft. I think that is gonna get just completely
Oof.
out of control. Marta McFly, also on TikTok, and host of McFly's Movie House, is gonna be joining us for that one. So it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. And spooky season with a good bang. So yeah, be sure to tune in for that. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Movie Draft Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes will be released weekly on Tuesdays. We'll see you then.